Cobras and fire, sex in your headphones. Cobras and fire, while work or at home, on a mission to save rock and roll for rock and rollers. There's Cobras and fire. Cobras and fire, rock's not dead. Cobras and fire, you just found it, my friend. On a mission to save rock and roll for you rock and rollers. Here's Cobras and fire. Cobras and fire.
Right, and then these other places too just seem to not also lean on any kind of hard rock. And I know your whole thing about, I'm not talking about just the used, that people don't give them back, that's a really cool theory too, because I do believe that's true. That's why there's not so many, but there's 1,000 R&B records.
The results are what they are, Luce.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's called data. But so that was part of it too. It just wasn't. So anyway, so I that place is great. Fair prices, even if it's a few bucks more, it's not $10 more on everything that you would find there. So I have started to do that. And I will tell you too, as far as the whole use and combining the technology is, do your local stores have their own Discog section, I assume, too, or not?
Not to my knowledge, but I've never really dug into that. So
okay, so that's this one close to Twist and Shout has their own Discog where you can actually see what they have if it's brand new, and then come in and reserve it, and then pick it up, not pay for shipping or whatever. So I found just a quick one to go in here. This has been sold out online. So this is Dead Daisies Make Some Noise, beautiful embossed cover. It's a double vinyl. This is the one that has Song and a Prayer. So it's their last one that was any good. I think. Yeah. I didn't like the one after that one, but I know I'm going sideways here, but beautiful red vinyl. $16. You know what I mean? $16 on there, and it was quote used but new, and they also had their live one on there too. But so I've been starting to do that as my point. So
did you set up a Discogs account? When I first talked to you about it, you seem very not your thing.
Well, that was when I had only viewed it as this is a way to hunt down some rare thing that you want some guy to ship. I've seen things like that in IM Vinyl and everything like that, but I didn't think of it as, nor did I know these independent stores would have this as pretty much their online store saying, here's what's brand new. And I just called them and said, hold these albums.
When I was talking to you about it, I was more like getting into, because Craig Smith was breaking it down for me. I didn't realize you add your own collection and it helps maintain just, I don't know, like a current value of what your collection is worth, like a low end, a medium, and a high end, Well,
that's pretty cool too. Yeah.
So that's what you and I talked about. It had absolutely nothing to do with shopping. So I'm not sure where you said, well, that's why. You seem, I know what it is. It's because I was talking and you just tuned out and said, this must be what he said.
Let me get back to what I was talking about. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But no. Anyway, so there's all these different things that like I've said, like I hear it from you and Craig, and then later it hits me of the usefulness of the knowledge that you're presenting. Yeah.
Well, and then you'll ask Joey Haney as if you have no input at all, and then he'll say it. Then you're all in.
Usually, when I hear it from at least 5 different people, the last person's when I finally decide to listen.
Yeah, when it comes to okay, fair enough.
I mean, that's pretty much what it said on any of my evaluations, employee wise, school wise, anything like that that's pretty much my review. After the 5th time, he fucking listens. It says at the end of every report.
Nice. That's your performance review. They just basically one employer to the next just kind of forwards it on.
That's right. It says you may have to do this review 5 times. Just set it up. Say the same thing every year. Year 5, he listens.
Right on.
Anyway, I know we're kind of bouncing all over the place, so I'm gonna throw it back to you. So yes, I totally agree. You should support. You want to get that experience. You want to do that. I just think war stores, and I get the fact that they have so much more cost involved, but have the selection, and then just be cool, man.
There are some stores around here that don't really cater to the stuff I buy, but there you go. Fortunately, a handful that do. You know what I mean? Cheapo Records actually has like, a really large hard rock and metal new vinyl selection, plus a gigantic used selection. So that's one of the stores locally. Near me is a place called Barely Brothers, which oddly enough is a place where I can find a decent selection of Kiss 45s kind of cycling through. I'm not sure what their pipeline is there, that they're the one place, but yeah, I don't know. The Agartha is another one. And of course, down in the valley is one of the big ones here. And there's a place called Fly Vintage, which is only selling online right now because of COVID. And they said they're not opening until basically everything is back up and running. So, but they still do their weekly new releases, whatever. They have like a little video. They show you what came into the store. So, yeah.
And I don't know. It is what it is.
If the record costs more than $5 or $4, they automatically, I think, it's a super high. It's just they clean the record. I can't remember what it's called. It's like I don't know. It basically it's a solution that the record spins through, but there's a term for it. And I just can't remember what it is. But yeah, it's really basically you get the record as pristine as it can be if it costs more than $4. They do it with every record they charge $4 and up on. So
that's cool.
They have a discount bin that they don't do that.
So, yeah, you want to just kind of go to the next thing. I'm not sure how many people are listening to us on vinyl today. So, maybe we're getting a little
on vinyl for Record Store Day.
That's right. What an odd thing too for me, by the way, is if I could just go into that too, is actually looking at the list of things that are put out for record stores. Some of the things you're like, okay, that makes sense. Some of the things like, who wants this? Like the most random soundtracks, right? Just oddest shit. And every time I would go to these places, since I've been introduced to this, the last two record store days, they're like, here's the last record store day, and here's the last record store day, and here's what didn't sell. And I'm like, no shit, why the fuck did you buy any of this stuff? And it never leaves, right? There's always that old record store day selection.
Yeah. I've gotten some stuff from that didn't sell too well, but it was like half off a year later. I bought like a Matthew Sweet live record, which is actually really good. Maybe they just printed too many of that one, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the Ghostbusters soundtrack for some reason,
or like Stripes, the soundtrack for Stripes. Who's dropping the soundtrack for Stripes on there? Like, is there? I don't even remember any of the music from that. I like the movie, but who's gonna be like, man, I just need to hear some of that soundtrack, some of that Stripes on vinyl.
Billy Elam. Billy Elam's buying it.
Okay, I'm sorry. See, I know there's a market for it.
Or Brian Harris, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, like I need to hear the music that was playing during the mud wrestling scene in Stripes on vinyl.
That way you can kind of relive it in your spank bank.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, man, so...
Let's get into it. What do we got? How are we going to do this? Just I got new and old, like some everything from the last year, kind of the standout releases I picked up.
Yeah, maybe we can start. We can get our... And maybe this will turn into the mini album version. Let's just see how this goes. If you're listening out there, we understand that there's a visual component that's missing here, so it'll be bonus if you watch it on the video. But come on, it's an experiment, people.
We'll paint the picture.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who goes first?
You can.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with something that I found recently at one of the local half-price books. Now, this is something from my childhood. This is kind of an impulse buy that I don't know if it was priced too high, I would not have came home with me. But I am happy I got it, and it is Bob and Doug McKenzie, The Great White North.
Yes.
I had the cassette as a kid, not the vinyl. But yeah, I haven't even put it on the turntable since I got it home, but nothing special with the vinyl, just a pretty standard Mercury label there. But I don't know, this is more nostalgic than anything, but it's pretty cool.
I think I had that at one point too. I think I actually did have the vinyl because I thought it was just so odd. The fact that it was like the second half is like just them. I mean, the whole album's pretty much them talking, right? But it's got songs on it and stupid shit like that.
Yeah, like there's a song with Geddy Lee on here. Take off to the great white north.
Okay.
It's a beauty way to go, eh?
Lovely.
So, yeah.
That's cool.
The 12 Days of Christmas. Yeah, that's their 12 Days of Christmas is on here.
Yep, that's the one I remember having too. Yeah, Strange Brew.
Strange Brew was the movie. They have a record for that too, but this is just a comedy album. I think it was the movie.
I heard that after watching the movie. So Strange Brew out of five I don't know, out of 5 Geddy Lees, how many Geddy Lees do you give it?
6.
I give it 2.5. Not my thing. That when
Yeah,
that guy drinks all
faster.
when he drinks all the beer, that's kind of funny.
That was great. Elsinore.
Yeah, I might have to watch it again as an adult, but didn't do that much for me. Maybe you're closer to Canada, so you maybe have the roots geographically. What do you think?
I also enjoy humor, so.
Obviously, I don't from the reviews.
Anyway, I can't remember to pay $5, $6, $7, something like that. Anyway,
So there's a company called Run Out Groove out there, a website that does reissues of vinyls that basically, as it says, have not been out for quite a long time, and it's actually like a crowdfunded thing. So you pick what should be the next release, and then it's from pre-orders they fund a certain amount, usually like 1,000 or 2,000. So with that said, I was alerted by Joey Haney, by the way, never even heard of it before, and one of the albums that I really liked from early 2000s, Donna's Spend the Night. Mm-hmm. My God, I'd like to do by the way, I feel like a perv having this album now with having kids and everything like a little bit. But point being is this thing, like as far as the cardboard, the quality is one of the heaviest ones that I have, and it's a double vinyl, yellow. It's got I always thought the whole setup of this back in the day with the CD was cool, with the whole 80s thing, seeing Freddie and everything on it, but it basically has an entire live album and outtakes for the second half. But I guess while I'm showing this, what did you think about this album? I thought it was like Kiss Dressed to Kill style for me.
The Donnas are a bit of a one-trick pony for me. Everything kind of sounds the same. If I had to pick one of their records, it would be Turn 21, which I think is the album right before that. Don't quote me on that, but they're all right. I don't know that I don't know. Like I said, they're kind of like soft punk. They're like a female version of Green Day that's kind of watered down. I don't know.
Yeah, I love this, and I love their album that came out after called Bitchin'. Actually, there's Gold Medal. Anyway, I'm a Donnas fan. They had a 3-album run. I actually don't like anything before, and then that was actually it. Have you ever heard Bitchin'? Bitchin', it was like an 80s tribute. Yeah. Okay, that was more like Def Leppard and stuff like that. But
man, I don't know what you hear when you hear Def Leppard.
They have a song that sounds exactly like there's certain songs that are. Hey, if you're listening to this, tell Bakko that maybe he should listen again, because they have a lot of. There's ones that are Joan Jett. There's ones that are Def Leppard on that album. I'm talking about Bitchin'. Each one was a different zone. Anyway.
Can I introduce Pepper?
Yes.
He just crawled on my pile of vinyl. This is Pep. He's my boy. So
excellent. I see a little bit of Futon. Futon.
he wasn't the futon. He was not the futon cat. No.
Oh, okay. All right.
That one, he's a little bit of a bitch. He probably won't come out because the lights are on.
Yeah. So, but this label, they do a bunch of things like I think they did.
What is the label?
It's called Run Out Groove.
Oh, you said that. Okay.
Run Out Groove, and they even did like Typo Negative. I think Bloody Kisses was one of them they just did recently. But it's all this like random stuff, and it's kind of cool. So if you go there, you just sign up for free. You'll get the alerts and discount codes and stuff like that. It was like $30 all in, and very high quality pressing. So this is the kind of stuff that really is what I love about vinyl, is taking you back a little bit. So
sure. Okay.
Next.
All right. Well, you talked about the hype sticker. Let me show you that real quick. This is how I personally handle it. Hold on one second, because I removed the sleeve.
So for those listening, before we do that, just for pay a picture, is the first like year and a half, all I did was I would just get it like a savage, like a kid, and I'd just rip open the plastic and go forward. And then all of a sudden I like you're going to talk about your technique, is that little sticker that says, "Hey, this is what's on the album." What do you do with
anybody who's this far into the episodes knows what a hype sticker is.
All right.
Otherwise, you don't give it. I mean, you probably checked out otherwise, but because it really only matters to dorks, people who get into this.
That's what this specific episode is for.
Yeah. So this Slipknot, All Hope Is Gone. It's the 10th anniversary edition. Hope I did that right. Yeah. 10. 18 and minus 9 is 10. Okay. But yeah, so the hype sticker there was on the original shrink wrap, and I like a lot of collectors, I just put all these stuff in the bags. But I actually remove the sticker and then I tape it to the inside. I'll actually slice it off with a scissors or a blade. So like the actual backside is still got the plastic shrink wrap on it. It's not sticky.
Okay.
And then I just tape it in there so it stays with the thing. I don't know if that's great for collecting or not, but at least it's a way to keep it. But so I don't know. People are familiar with Slipknot. This album, All Hope Is Gone. This is an alternate cover, kind of a different outtake shot of it. Got all this kind of random stuff going on there. It's on two records. It's mainly just the there isn't any bonus stuff on the vinyl, but it did come with a live CD of a show. So that was kind of like the bonus feature with this one.
Okay.
So I picked this up at I don't know, one of the record stores here locally earlier this year. Just because I don't know, I'm a fan of the record a lot, and I don't know, it's a really cool package too. I don't think it's colored vinyl. Let me just, I don't know what else to open it. No, it's just standard black. You got the little Slipknot star there on the sticker, but anyway.
That's cool. So you really get the warmth of Slipknot on vinyl, as I understand.
Yeah, you know what? I know where you're going with that, but this actually is an amazing sounding album. It's very well mastered. It's not one that I was disappointed with when I put it on the platter. Some of the metal, I don't know that I really need the vinyl warmth to it, but it works with this one.
So let's talk about that real quick. Do you think that there is a difference of, like, I keep seeing deals on Metallica's Master Puppets or a Megadeth album and stuff like that. We talk about thrash and stuff, and I'm like, I'm just not sure that's what I'm going to be wanting to listen to, and will there be any difference? Because some of it, maybe even the Megadeth side, because Megadeth's like so technical. If you think Rust in Peace, I'm like, what else am I Megadeth? It's almost like sometimes you equate, for me, at least for my ears, and this is where you can dispute this or not. There's such a technicality to that actually adding vinyl to it might actually take away from it. Because
there are definitely times. I agreed with your AC/DC one. I was like, really not that interested in dropping that kind of money for that record.
Yeah.
But also just like, I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a way to quantify it though, because sometimes I'll look at something like, well, this is just because it's this extreme metal. I don't know that I need it on vinyl, but sometimes like this, this seems something about it seems perfect on vinyl, and then you go listen to it and it kind of backs that up. I mean, I have that Master of Puppets and the Kill 'Em All on their recent, the recent pressings. So,
recommended?
Yeah, they sound great.
Okay. Is there anything that that's my whole thing is like my point is that I've never had them on vinyl. Is there anything actually I'm missing with that type of music that you're like, man, because that's the whole thing too, is I'll get into the whole like obsessiveness about like finding the perfect sound and everything like that. Like, did it do anything except for the experience and having it and what?
Well, that's just it. Typically, if I'm buying a record like that, it's an album that I like almost all the way through.
Right.
And with new, when I'm buying, because there's a price point to this, brand new vinyl that it's like I won't pick something up that if I'm just not a big fan is all I'm getting at. I'm not going to buy, I don't know, an album that I only like a couple songs off of. Like, it might sound great, those couple songs, but to me, I don't need it that bad. For vinyl, because it takes so much work. the whole ritual of it, you want to be able to play it from beginning to end,
Right. Okay, but so basically nothing more
for that than it is that it's metal or country or.
Okay, all right. As you know, you're a big fan of "Blame It on the Boom Boom" by Blackstone Cherry, yes?
Their best song, easily.
So this is not exactly. But what other things can you blame it on?
The broom broom. If the floor is dirty, you can blame it on the broom broom.
Okay. If a car goes fast, you can blame it on the zoom zoom.
No, I wouldn't.
No, it doesn't work. How did that not work? That's what a car does. Vroom. What about vroom?
Yeah, maybe vroom vroom.
Okay. Vroom vroom. Okay. Anyway, but this is not that album. But they started randomly. They started putting out some EP. Thank you. No, this is Blackstone Cherry still.
Yeah.
But it's Black to Blues Volume 2, and they put out a couple EPs the last couple of years. This one was one that I completely missed prior, but they had on sale for like $9. This thing is blue vinyl, and I was going to ask the reason I specifically grabbed this one. And by the way, this is just a jam. 6 songs, and they're blues songs, except for one I've never heard them before, so they're new to me. And I'm not the big of a blues fan, but the guitars on this absolutely rip. But beautiful blue vinyl, and it's a 45. It's 45 speed. So this is one of the best sounding vinyls that I have of any.
That's why they press it that way.
But my point is that when you see these doubles, I was so impressed by this, and it's the only like 12-inch that's actually on 45 that I have. I wonder why they don't do it more often, because there's definitely ones that they put on a double. Can you tell me what? Maybe you can break that down, because it seems like that would be a good idea. Because there's sometimes an album that's maybe 45 minutes long. They put it on two discs, but why not putting it on 45 like this then?
Well, it's a faster speed, so there's less. I don't know. Let's just call it data, less information in the space that the needle travels. That means they can put more detail, more definition in it.
Right.
But you know, since you don't seem to have a problem with downloading something locally from a streaming service, I'm not sure how it makes much difference to your ears.
I don't understand where this is going all the time. I've never disputed that having more data is better. You're just mad that they even do it at all. But my point is, I'm just saying, like, why isn't that there's so many things.
You can put less music on one side. That's the easy answer there.
Anyway, I don't know if it's a cost. My whole question on that, if it's a
cost
thing or
twice as much. Well, not quite twice as much, but yeah.
No, I'm saying that there's a bunch of ones that just because they can be on 2 discs is my point. They put them on 2 discs, even though the album is 40 minutes. Okay, so maybe that's 10 minutes aside or 3 songs. There's tons I have. For example, Def Leppard, where it's 15 minutes aside. You're telling me that you couldn't make that a 45?
Sure. I mean, you got to remember too. They also think about, and I don't know that this is the decision making, but the whole sound degrading as it gets towards the middle of the record. Maybe they want to avoid that by doing it that way too. I mean, I don't know. I'm with you for the most part. When you're done,
curious of why. Yeah, go ahead. I'm done. I'm done with that. If you want to break that down,
I have Foo Fighters "Wasting Light" on double vinyl, and this is also 45.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and it sounds fucking immaculate. The one thing is that, like, and I would assume that if they're gonna go that route, they're gonna spend the time. You hope so anyway to properly master it. But I couldn't imagine. I can't remember what I was gonna say there. That you would spend the time to make sure it's 45, but also not do proper mastering. So, which has to be done in real time, which I think confuses some people a little bit, because it's kind of a technical geeky into shit, but. It is a great sounding record. Since I got it, I should probably show it, huh? Open it up here. You got all that good stuff there.
Yeah, when you're doing that, just open that up, hold it up. Like for the next one, just do it for an extra like 2 seconds, because right when it get up, okay, that's better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you got that. It's basically just the album. No bonus tracks or anything like that. I believe it's just black vinyl. It is. Got these kind of, I don't know, maybe a little. I don't remember what artwork's in the CD, but this is one of the sleeves.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I bought this. I don't know, more just because I was in the rack at Cheapo, and I was like, you know what, I could use some Foo Fighters. So I don't know, wasn't finding anything else apparently, because I have the record, but now I have another one.
So, and that kind of goes to like that. Do you want to go more into that other one you just said?
What's that?
I said, did you want to go into more on that one at all, or no?
No, I mean, it's great. I mean, it's one of my favorite records of all time. It's definitely, I think, their best album. But I'm always pleased when I can bring it home and it's like a recent pressing of anything. Maybe we should get into that a little bit, because the time to properly master vinyl is not a guarantee with a lot of stuff that's going on right now. That's kind of the benefit of buying, used vinyl, stuff that came out, I would say, up to 1990. It was just part of the standard manufacturing process.
It was something you had to do.
Mastering and manufacturing are 2 different things, so I want to make sure I clarify that. I'm just saying it didn't get to the manufacturer if it wasn't properly mastered and tested and all that kind of stuff. So, that clearly is not the case now.
And that's what I was going to ask, is like, I guess not ask, but one of my comments of me supporting new rock acts which is kind of disappointing. Is that's what I wanted to do. Is like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy the physical product, do all this, and sometimes it leaves something to be desired. Where I'm no joke. There are certain ones that I have here in my collection that, yes, these low bit streaming version sounds better than the actual vinyl.
Oh, I have one that I bought recently that the MP3 that came with it free blows the vinyl away.
That's what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
it's actually like shocking, and it's a disservice to them because the people that are buying this, I understand there might be an extra step in expense, or maybe it's just shitty manufacturing. And I can go to two that mystify.
I don't think it's manufacturing, man.
No, not at all.
No.
Okay.
I mean, if it's a manufacturing thing, that means most of them are probably good, and you got a bad copy.
What was the average? Was the weight 140 back in the day? Like when average you go.
No idea. I didn't even hear about weights until 180 came out. So
okay, well, whatever. That just like the thinner. I'm saying okay. So you think it's just all about the mastering, not the actual plant?
absolutely, when it comes to sound quality, that's where it's done. I mean, the mastering process is you have a machine, and you basically you play the record like on the actual recorded master tapes, and then it actually carves a well, they call it an acetate that basically it's a vinyl record, you know what I mean? And then you listen to that, and you listen to it in a studio setting, and you make notes. Too much here on this one song, something like that. Too high, too low. And then people that are trained to do that, they know what they're looking for, what what to listen for. And then you tweak those, and then you do another one, and then you might tweak it after that. It might. Sometimes it probably comes together quicker than others. It probably depends on how good the guy doing it is. But that process takes time. It literally cannot be accelerated. Now, I guarantee in this modern day and age, they have some kind of quick set stuff. Some kind of, I don't know, like easy setting thing. They just rip everything through and it covers 90% of what they're trying to get at. But I guarantee this Foo Fighters one was done properly. That
Right.
Slipknot one, same way too. All the Kiss reissues that I've been raving about from Universal Music, whatever they did it right, because they sound better than the CD remasters, and they sound better than the original vinyl, if you ask me. There is effort being taken somewhere, but clearly the quality control is not a mandate as it probably was back in the day.
No. And one of the things that spoiled it for me was one of the first ones that I got, and it was like, okay, this is the kind of packaging that I was looking for. Yes, this is from last year, but the Ghost.
That one was definitely done proper as far as mastering.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the packaging, the everything you can think of. This is what I think the vinyl experience should be. And yes, get Ghost is going to be a bigger band, but they have a ridiculously, huge poster that comes with it too. If you're a fan of this album or thinking about maybe getting it on vinyl, but the actual sound of it is unbelievable. This is the one that I use to actually calibrate if I'm messing around with stuff. To just the end.
It is immaculate, and it's beautiful too. Look at that thing.
I mean, look at this.
That's
just
what I was supposed to get from my first Kiss album, the 45th edition. That's not what I got.
I think it's called, what did they call this?
Smoke?
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it looks great. And this is the other thing, too, is this is not a 180. So the 180 thing, I think, seems to me a lot of time is marketing, because this is just a normal weight one. I mean, it's not a 180, whatever weight that is. And
the 180 has nothing to do with sound quality. I don't think there's any conspiracy there. It helps probably with warping.
Right. But it's a sexy thing to talk about. It always says
Sure.
it always supposed to sound like that is what is going to make it better when it's on the hype sticker. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, but it feels good, and it's got a little more girth to it, and
Right.
I don't know, but yeah, it probably has some minor benefits as far as like any type of slippage on the platter. I don't know.
Right. And then and then also comes with same thing. They didn't even this could have been just a black too, but it has a 45 of 2 cover songs. It's a Sin, which I think you just recently featured on the show.
Yeah.
Maybe. But that also is that type of vinyl too. So point being is they did it right, and I mean, when I've had people there that even say like, whatever, your record player, that I'll play them like, God damn, that sounds great. So
Yeah.
So then you have on the other end of it, you'll have, which sounds okay. Just to put it, here's an example. is this one of our mascots or whatever you want to call it? Of course. Danko Jones. This vinyl, from the packaging to this, it's a beautiful blue vinyl, all that stuff, sounds all right.
Yeah.
It's maybe an MP3, would you say?
Yeah. My MP3 sounds better than the vinyl, but it's not one of the worst sounding ones.
It is not, but I'm just saying, but here's, you get it too, and you're like, this is kind of like that same thing too. Like it's an awesome presentation, and just the fact that they have like Danko is like a toy kit, and the kid's putting it together and punching it out from like the die cast or whatever is a cool. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff I miss. Like all that, I didn't even notice because it was so small. The picture online, so. Anyway,
well, exactly. Yeah. When you rent your music, you don't get all those details.
No, you don't. I mean, those JPEGs. You know, the 300 by 300 loses some of the detail. But what I'm saying is that the product attached to this should outweigh. It should be quality. That's all I'm saying.
Well, right, and that's kind of. Then this would be an example of the low end. This just came out from Bob Mould from Husker Du.
Okay.
Blue Hearts. Amazing song on here called "American Crisis." This is Angry Bob, which is my favorite. He just goes very, I don't know. It's if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of hard to describe. It is a cool package. Not colored vinyl though. They did release it on a blue vinyl. I went with the black. Typically, if I'm given the choice of the two, I'll stay away from the color. But
so you still think that there's an issue there?
I'm saying if I get presented with two choices and one's black and one's colored, I'm going to take that. They have definitely figured out whatever the issue was with colored vinyl back in the day. Because like even that Ghost one is one of the best sounding vinyls I've ever played. So my bias is gone. But if I get both of them together, like I said, they're side by side in a store, I'm probably going to pick black. Anyway, this sounds horrible. This sounds just above AM radio grade quality. I almost think something happened. But thankfully it came with a download card because then I could actually listen to the record and enjoy it.
But what mystifies me is, but maybe he has not a huge artist, but that's an artist that should know what the fuck is going on, right?
Yeah, you would think so. I would agree. I don't know, man. I don't know how much time he spends, with the quality control, but you think he'd care. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Here's the one I'll go with.
You think he'd give a damn? He's a fucking big vinyl guy.
Oh my God, yeah, that kind of stuff. And then okay, so sometimes like with a Ghost album, the actual experience of it makes it better. Like I enjoy that it's actually a true album. It has a start, a finish, it has different things. It's a perfect flow. So if I was gonna say like album of the year for that year, probably been that. Even though there's certain, you know what I'm trying to say. So the new Marilyn Manson, mixed across the board reviews for that. I was really excited about it because he was partnering with Shooter Jennings, who's not just country, but he's a very eclectic guy. And I knew that it was going to be produced well, it was going to be innovative, it was probably going to be harkened back to the Mechanical Animals sound that personally for me, that's my favorite. So I went out and bought it. I bought the special edition at Target right here, still wrapped actually. And, it said it came with like some kind of, I thought it was gonna be more like Ghost, but it's basically gray, or what have you. But this is the one that took me down a rabbit hole of buying a new needle, because I was like, okay, this is definitely an album that I think has a start finish. I like the flow. I'm a big fan of this album, but it's made by fucking Loma Vista recording company, which I'm not familiar with. This thing is so flat, so it's like it's not the AM radio you're talking about, but there's nothing there. Like I was like, this is what I was expecting from a producer like Shooter Jennings, a artist the size of Marilyn Manson, and it is so underwhelming. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
So underwhelming. It has the packaging, but it's the opposite. This is actually probably going to be sold back because the MP3 I have is better. And by the way, also when you're paying you can never get this for anything less than $25 or $27. No MP3 download. That is a sin. I think that should be
automatic.
Should be automatic. You get a little download card for your modern artist, but it is across the board about that too.
That's one when given the option, I went with the CD.
Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, I just was like, I don't know. I may have actually got the vinyl if I thought the album was better than I did, but
Gotcha.
It just we were talking about it earlier. So, but give me this whole stylus thing is something that
Beautiful.
is kind of amazing to me. That you recently bought $100 stylus, one of those. What are they called?
Ortophon.
Ortophon. I'm just curious.
The
because,
Ortophon 2M Red, for those that are listening.
So something wrong with your stereo system? What were you? What was going on that you're like, holy cow, this sounds like fucking ass. I probably need to spend 4 times what I have for a cartridge in here. That seems kind of the opposite way you would go.
So I have the whole thing. First off, I am obsessive about my setup for my stereo. I've had these clip speakers from. I've always liked clips, like whatever sound in my ears have liked. So I have those. I have them all calibrated. I use this whole system that the actual stereo comes with, and I had it set pretty well. And then there were certain albums like Manson and a couple other ones, like basically the ones that I'm talking about, like your Dankos and everything like that. I'm like, maybe it's because this needle just can't bring out the gold of this.
So you're going to be one of those guys that has like a special tone arm for certain records, and
no, I'm just saying like
that's where you're going with this.
No. I'm saying that like I thought that, I had the stock one that came with it. That probably you use the green Audio Technica is what we're talking about. Yeah. And then I got this one called Pro Jet Carbon like a year ago. That was like maybe $50, and there was a difference between using that. You just pop it. There really was, and it really had to do with I heard a lot of distorted stuff with vocals. There wasn't as bassy. And things like that. So
it's difficult to trust you with your ear and nuances when your standard form of listening is streaming. So I'm like, if that's acceptable, and let's go back to the turntable, that Ghost record sounds great, but when you put a different record on, why is your first thought that like something must be wrong with my setup and not just this is a poorly mastered record?
Because on those, the reason is because of the difference between that Pro Jet Carbon, which is made with Audio Technica, and the other one. I could definitely tell a difference, and there was not this. A good example would be when I got. I'll just go to the next one. I got Def Leppard's Hysteria on double vinyl. Okay, so they came out this year. When it was getting to the big gang vocals, it would start sounding like really, I don't know, distorted or something like that on it, and so when I switched to the red. It wouldn't be this.
You're happy with your purchase.
I'm not sure if it's enough. That's my point.
Maybe you need to buy new speakers.
Well, this is old Steve Martin routine. If you want to drop that in there. No,
here's a new angle that'll save you a little time and money, and probably be better for your soul. Don't buy Def Leppard on vinyl. Just don't buy Def Leppard at all.
Is that just a funny comment?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Exactly. So that's my point, is that this is the same thing. It's like Def Leppard started making me go crazy because I don't think that it's any better on the Hysteria on vinyl than it was just listening to it on CD as it is. Because I think that's one of these bands that actually worsens the listening experience because it's so overproduced by Mutt Lange and things like that.
100%.
Okay, because I listened to it and I'm like, I thought I was going to hear some amazing extra stuff because the production is so renowned for this, and we do appreciate this. Let's go listen to our episode. But that is one of the things I'm like, it is better in a digital format, I think, than vinyl for that kind of stuff. On the flip side, you listen to some Stones, you're like, fuck yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Mutt Lange produced Pyromania. That sounds amazing. I have the original pressing of that. Okay. But that is not quite as slick as Pyromania. I think anybody would admit that. Mutt Lange produced Back in Black. That sounds killer.
Okay. Maybe it's that particular one then.
It's not the producer so much as it is the actual production, even though it's the same guy. But he really went over the top with the slickness. And look, I'll flat out say this. I don't think, as far as actually getting the music, CD will give you more of a wide expansion of it than vinyl will. For me, vinyl, I want it to sound really good, but I'm not going to do this thing where it's like, first of all, that's the thing with vinyl is that like you have to invest so much just to get it decent sounding. You want to just hold on a second? Jesus Christ.
I'm giving you visuals for the people. This is bonus for YouTube people. I'm listening.
I'm trying to stay on topic here. So
Okay,
CD versus vinyl, you have to spend so much more money. We've talked about it before to get just a decent sounding setup. And I have that. It's a pretty. I've invested about $600-700 in the whole thing, and I think it sounds amazing. It's great, but I'm not going to chase tone arms or styluses. I'll replace the stylus when it gets worn out. You know what I mean? The turntable I replaced, I've had since 1988, and I put a $7 stylus in there from Amazon. It was like a knockoff Audio Technica, and it was amazing how much better it sounded after like I basically beat the shit out of the one that was in there. That was fucking 30 years old. But then when I got this new setup, it took it to the next level, and I'm like, well, fuck, this is 10 times better than what was 10 times better. So I'm not gonna fucking overthink this stuff too much. I want to put a record on. I want to sit back and relax. I don't want to sit there and constantly go, those high ends a little too cranky.
That's where I have to stop. Yes, that's my point, is that I know I have gone into the crazy world of going into forums and stuff like that where I never thought I would be. I'm like, why am I doing this? And I need.
So you have a disorder.
I really do. Yes.
Okay.
I think it's a disorder called. Yeah. Yeah. So but I'll put it in there, but it's Projet or something carbon. I'll put it on there, but that I do know there's a difference there. My point is that little $50 upgrade that I got a year ago, I can't tell a difference between that and the Ortophon.
Okay.
Do you see my meaning? So I think that's your point, is that if you're going to you can make a jump. I think it does sound better than the regular cartridge that comes with it. But I think if you're going to hear a big difference, you got to go like big time, like as much as your actual player cost to begin with.
And I know I told you, and I think I might have shared this on the show before, but if not, I'll make it quick either way. Yeah. There's a place here locally called the Needle Doctor that services all your turntable needs, and they go all the way up to the $50,000 set. So, but when I was in there, they have actually this ART that's super popular now, the one that we both have, or Audio Technica, I mean. And they have this one that was like $27,000, and then another $7,000 for the tone arm. And then the stylus and everything was more beyond that. And so I was like, can you play these two back to back? I just got, and I could hear a difference, but it was like, that is not even close to a $30,000 difference in sound quality. It may be a $20 difference. Right. So the fact that you can buy a stylus for, I think our stylus retails at about $39.99 that comes with that thing. And that I just couldn't see spending $60 more enhancing my personal experience any more than it already is. It's already in a sweet spot for me. So
yep. So that's what I've realized after all this. And Amazon will be very happy that I'm done with my experiments, because I just buy and return the needles.
Yeah. Okay.
The last. But with that said, do you have another one you want to go through? I think it's your turn.
You were distracting me with that horrible Def Leppard Inside record. No, seriously, let's get into it. It's a great record. We both love it.
No, just that I actually do like. With this, it sounds, let's just say it sounds about the same as the CD or whatever. But I do like, having it split into 4 sides. I do think that's something too that I missed. You know what I mean? Like having the different sides and things like that. Like I do like I like the actual splitting into 4 sides for certain albums too. I'm not sure if I have a great example of that, of what makes it better. But I could just move. Do you have anything else you want to say about that?
Oh, if you want to bring it back up, we'll show the people to get
sure.
Get a better look at it again.
Listen, if you can get this for, I'm sure they're going to have some Black Friday specials. They had this thing on Amazon where, this is where I went a little crazy, was buy 2, get 1 free for vinyls for certain bands. And they had things for like Priest, AC/DC, this, and stuff like that. So you could, except for this one, you could find like AC/DC ones for Back in Black, $18. Pay for 2 $18 ones and get 1 free. It doesn't have to be the same band. I'm just saying, go on there. I know you're supposed to support your local shop, but goddamn, when you're paying $13 average or whatever for a brand new album, that's great. Anyway, so this is one of them I got on there. It's usually like $35. It's got the whole gatefold where it has the guys that you find ugly, as you said on our show.
They're not as attractive as they're thought to be. Other than Steve Clark, good looking dude.
And I mean, it still looks great. It sounds, I have to say I like the CD better than this, but it was cool just seeing all that because I had forgotten reading all this stuff from back in the day. So this one's good, but I'm just going to go to this one, hit this one real quick if I could, because this has to do with one that is one of the best vinyls I've ever owned too, sounding wise. Okay. So are you a fan at all of? Do you have any Stones on vinyl? I know you're not that big of a. Okay, which ones do you have? Can you recall?
It's I have the one with the zipper.
Sticky.
And then Let It Bleed.
That's.
Oh, and then I have a really old one too. Back when they're just one of their first handful. I can't remember what it's called. But it's on London Parlophone or whatever.
Okay. So when they said that Goat's Head Soup was coming out, reissued and everything, that's one of them that is that run of Let It Bleed, Sticky Fingers, Exile, and then Goat's Head. That 4-album run, fucking. For me, is one of the best runs that a band has ever had. Okay. So, but Goat's Head was like on the lesser of that, but still, there's some great stuff on it. So, when they said they were reissuing it, I saw randomly, and it wasn't like everywhere. I don't know where I even stumbled across this, but have you ever seen this badass album cover as an original? So this was supposedly the alternative. It actually is a goat's head in soup. in there. And I was like, man, I'm like, that is pure evil. I got to order that version. So I found it from a company there's nowhere local. It's called Merch Bar, which I've never been on before. And this thing is a double album. So here's like the original. I think this was the original. Yeah, this one, where it has Mick all the way to that side. That was the original cover. Then it would have Keith on the back. But it has a bunch of unreleased tracks, which, has all those alt versions that you hear like once and you're like, whatever. But some of them are actually pretty good. But my God, this is the one that the vinyl is made for. First off, clear vinyl.
Yeah. Probably my favorite.
Oh, you like clear the best?
If you want to go with the colored, even though it's not a color.
Okay. And it actually shows everybody else that played on the album too, because there's, like Exile, there's a big cast of characters.
Right.
On there, but just incredible. Like, I'm sure that just the regular black vinyl, which I think you get for $22 on Amazon, sounds great too. But if you are even half a fan of this album, I mean, a heartbreaker on here. It's just, I'm never going to call it do. I'm calling it heartbreaker. But
you struggle with album or song titles that don't fit perfectly in the little loose.
No, I'm not a fan of the parentheses. It's do. Heartbreaker. But highly recommend. Really cool packaging, and that took forever to show up. So it's not. So if you're going to get it, maybe try it on this. What do you think? Think they would have scared the kids with that album cover back in the day?
I would have loved it. Yeah, that would have been awesome. If my sister would have had that as a child, that would have freaked me out more than that Queen News of the World cover. First time I saw that, I was probably 8 years old, and I was like, I couldn't stop. But it did freak the hell out of me.
What? News of the World just looks cheesy to me, like that robot or whatever. Or
yeah, I'm sure you looked at it when you were 6 years old. Yeah. I remember, I will tell you this, though. When I actually heard the record, I'm like, this does not match the packaging at all.
Well, that's what people say when you listen to Ghost, though, too. You look at the cover, you're like, and then you pull up Dance Macabre. You know what I mean? It's nothing evil.
I don't know. Well, I mean, maybe because I got into them early. Ghost always sounded like what I thought they would be. Because I first saw a picture, then I went and looked them up on YouTube, and this was before they even had like a music video. So it was just like cell phone videos in 2009. And so I don't know. I guess I don't know that. I agree. People probably do say that. I'm not sure what they're expecting the word ghost to mean. I don't know. There's a certain hauntiness to their music, I think.
All right, fair enough. That's the yin and yang of the show.
What were you saying about the headphones thing, though?
No, I just said like that's an experience that I haven't had. Do you like listening to vinyl on headphones? Because I've not done that until just recently.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, music in general. If I can relax, like I said, like I can sit down, I can maybe enjoy the album art. I mean, that's how I listened to it when I was younger. Especially things that have a lot of like oral I don't know, porn going on. Like Pink Floyd, The Wall was a great one to listen to on headphones and kind of follow the story as you go through it. But for the most part, I really just like to turn it up loud. And being where I can do that, that's my preferred setting. So.
Gotcha. Do you think these headphones are good enough? This is not.
Yeah, no, I use mine. Yeah. So.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna start doing that. I think that's where I was getting to the obsessive compulsive too, is like listening to like maybe it's my speakers. That's what was my test. I was gonna listen to my headphones to see if there was something wrong.
Yeah, but it'll sound different in your headphones. It's because they're different speakers. But.
What you got next?
Well, you were kind of stepping on me a little bit earlier when we were talking about this, but this
is
one
eye roll there.
I didn't think I'd get, because when Zakk Wylde said he was re-recording the first Black Sabbath record with Zach Sabbath, initially it was rolled out as like a limited run of 500, and then when I first heard about it, it had a pre-order link, and when I went to it, it was already sold out. So it went pretty quick. So I just on a whim was out, doing on a weekend, just stopped in at one of the local record stores, and they had it. And now I don't know if the original thing was going to be called Vertigo, but I was super pleased. It was basically like, I'm of course leaving with that. I don't know.
What is that? Is that a reference of anything that's on the original Black Sabbath? Is there any connection to it?
Based on Vertigo Records is the tie-in there.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm not a fan of yellow vinyl. So yeah, it's got the Vertigo record label. That there is from Vertigo Records. And I believe Black Sabbath 13, they went back to Vertigo. At least they used that art. But yeah, this is something that I think we talked about it. I would not buy this on CD. I would not stream it. I have zero interest in any of that. This is about, this is like manufactured for the vinyl experience, that whole process, the ritual of everything, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's kind of an updated overall sound, but
let me see the track listing.
It's a spot on re-recording of the official U.S. release.
That's what I thought. Okay, so it just goes Black Sabbath, the Wizard on one side, and then everything else on the second, or is that not accurate?
Well, it's you got that Wasp song, Behind the Wall of Sleep, basically NIB. And then side 2 is Wicked World, A Bit of Finger, Sleeping Village, and Warning. So.
Gotcha.
And weirdly, this album has always just kind of, I'm talking about the debut Black Sabbath record. It'll always be one of my favorite ones. I bought the repressing of that, I don't know, a couple years ago. That was one of the earlier, new vinyl that I would have purchased. I just like listening to it, and I don't even think as a record it really flows that great. You know what I mean? But there's just something very raw and kind of haunting about it that it always takes me back to kind of that same vibe and feeling. So I dig it. Yeah, I got a couple like old pressings. I'll kind of blast through these. I'm not sure which one's on it. So I just picked this one up. An underrated record.
Perfectly rated. Sorry. I didn't mean to say that.
I don't know what you said.
I said perfectly rated.
From a non-Aerosmith fan.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's not a great album. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. But this gets shit on a little bit. There's some really good stuff on here. I'd read the titles, but they're backwards. So. But no.
What a great idea that was, right?
Yeah, well, I knew that's where you were going to go with it. I like it. I think it's cool. Let the music do the talking. Of course, it was originally on a Joe Perry solo project, but they kick it at.
That's a good song.
It's a pretty good one. My Fist Your Face. Yep. Actually, the whole side one I can listen to for the most part. Now, I like it so much that if it was $1 more, I probably wouldn't have bought it. You're going to like this one. A band you probably won't even.
Before we go past that for the Aerosmith one. Rockin' a Hard Place. Would you buy it for $10 new?
Oh, new? Yeah, I might even buy it used for that if it was a good quality pressing.
You like that one too?
Yeah.
Recently. Okay.
Yeah.
It's that they've had that in sale on Amazon. You won't go there, but I was like, I still don't like that album enough to buy it new for $10. That was a deal they had.
I can live without it. That's kind of where I'm at with that. A lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Said there might be exceptions, but I'm really. I did one where I bought like 3 records on one of those ridiculous $10 sales. And then I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm just giving money to Walmart or Amazon or something like that. And I don't really want it. So if I don't want it for more than $10, then I don't want it for $10 at Amazon.
That's a good mark.
Yep. Yeah, you'll find it used. You actually did, didn't you?
What's that?
Rocks.
Oh, for Rocks, for example. Yeah, I ran into like a copy for like $2, and it was fine, and it sounds fucking great. It's fucking rocks, right?
Yeah, well, it's just that the cover is worn down. They lose some value. So, well, that's what I'm getting at.
I'm saying it still sounded good. It still sounds as good or better than most new releases, and it's in shitty condition.
Let me hammer through a few of these 80s metal classics, hair metal kind of stuff that are kind of more.
How many of these are Keel?
None.
Okay, go ahead.
A band called Icon. Here's a Japanese pressing still has the obi. I actually love this record. Probably overpaid for this because it's not easy to find.
That front cover, move it back towards you a little bit. I can't see anything, or take it out of the plastic because I can't see anything what that picture is. Unless if you take it out of the plastic, it'll. Yeah, okay, whatever. I still can't see it very well, but
yeah, it's not a. I mean, I don't know. I can see it pretty good on my tiny screen, so I'm not sure what you're looking at.
I can see that fine.
Yeah, yes. Okay. I think it's just because this is kind of a crazy image.
Picture. That's what it is then. Okay.
Who
is anybody, for those that aren't familiar like me, is there anybody that was a major player that went to a different? Is it just a band that you like, or is there like?
Yeah, they had 3 or 4 records. This is their debut album, 1984. But yeah, if you didn't, I don't know. There's nobody that went on to do anything else.
That's what I was asking. Okay.
But they were a major label. They weren't like some kind of indie deal that I found in the store. From Canada, Helix.
Oh, that's right. That's the
in the Razor's Edge.
Mm-hmm.
These were both bought at that store I told you that cleans the records up if it's over $4.
I think Craig Smith works there, right?
Yeah.
Just clean them off.
And this one has our show's anthem. It's a title track of Heavy Petting's record, Rock Ain't Dead. This is one song deep, but it's kind of a unique 80s collectible.
Is actually the song Rock Ain't Dead any good?
Yeah, that's the only song I like on it.
Why have we never played it?
We have.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, I know. I was always like, God, I thought he'd actually dig that more than he did. He didn't even comment on it.
Can you pull the episode? Was that 2 years
early.
ago? 3 years ago? Okay.
2 or 3 years ago at least. Anyway, well, what about you? Have you bought any used stuff, or is it all new?
Most of the used stuff I have is just from that Craig Smith haul that amazingly I was able to unload most of it. I have no idea how to get credit when I went back in. So no, not that much, but I can hit a few. I can do a few quick hitters for stuff that I never thought I'd see on vinyl. So since we were harkening back to earlier episodes, one of the reasons I started the show was running into bands that kind of just revived my hope in rock and roll. So this is a very small band out of Ireland called Trucker Diablo, which I featured on the show a few times.
Yeah.
But this is I don't remember that Songs of Iron. Okay, so oddly enough, I found this, and by the way, if you want just a straight up rock and roll album, great band, just Trucker Diablo, Songs of Iron. If you're listening out there, get it. And it's a very basic pressing, but it was like $15. Amazingly, I found it. And here's actually came with a poster of the band, and oddly enough, it's actually printed by a label called Ripple Music, which is out of Broad Ripple, Indianapolis, section of Indianapolis, near where I used to live. So, band from Ireland that started the show, printed in Indianapolis. Here's another one. Now, have you heard of the Las Vegas before?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Nikki Sixx's pet project.
Yep, exactly. So there was a one and done pretty much, but they put out one and done for that label for 11/7. Yeah. They were dropped immediately after that. So they put out a second album.
Band on that label is.
Oh my God, yeah. It was pretty much, that was the Motley, what was it called? The Motley, the Fest? Crew Fest. Crew Fest was basically just him shilling everybody that was on that fest was on his label, essentially, for the most part. Anyway, so for the Las Vegas, their first album sounded pretty much like Motley Crue-ish sleaze rock. The second one was more Aerosmith. It had one of the worst album covers, but I was shocked to find this. I found this at a local store new.
Oh, nice.
So it's Bad Decisions. This one I highly, just go check this album out. It's very Aerosmith vibe. Tracks like The Other Side, title track Bad Decisions, and It's So Easy. Just check those out as little gateway drugs. But the fact that this makes no sense. This shows their business decisions First off, the album that they're called The Las Vegas and they're from Chicago. Makes no sense. Then this album came out in like 2010, I think. How the fuck is this on a colored vinyl to begin with out there? And it was pressed in 2015. Who's desiring this 5 years later? So I found it new for $10 at the local store. That was just the most random thing. I had to buy it. Even if I didn't, I was like, how does this even exist?
Right.
So one of those things. And then one more from new. But I will say that these so far, by the way, both of those sound pretty damn good. And here's another one of this was one of my albums of the year last year. Texas Hippie Coalition, High in the Saddle. This one I actually got and returned a copy that I had on Amazon because it was actually, I think, like you said, it's not the manufacturing process, but that one was. It was like something like the first part of it. This is what I call gobstopper colored vinyl. First off, a little fun fact. Do you know those mystery flavors, the Dum Dums? When you get the Dum Dums and it's mystery, you don't know what it is. Yeah. Do you know what that is? Do you know why they even have that? Okay, here you go. It's because the fact that's the shit that's left in the bottom of the vat, and they just decided not to throw it away, all the different colors, and then they put it out as a mystery flavor. That's what I think this fucking vinyl is. Is my point. This is all the colors. I like
that.
Left.
That looks nice.
These are all the colors that were left on the bottom.
Yeah, I don't think you're right on that. The mystery flavor is you don't know what flavor it's going to be until you open it. It is just
a bunch of colors. It's a bunch of random colors sometimes. I'll send you the article on the Dum Dum Factory. That's what it is. It was maximizing throughput, not leaving anything behind.
All right.
So those are the three bands that I'd like to support and whatnot. But all three of those sound as good as the Danko or better, but could be better is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So what else? What's next on your list?
Well, I'll kind of going in line with you. A lesser known band, Scorpion Child. I was surprised to find this used. Because what we talked about, rock fans don't really take their records back, especially when you're this level of rock fan. They're not exact. It's not like returning a pile of Rolling Stones records that you found when your cousin died or something like that.
Right. That's like that's like finding dead daisies kind of.
Yes, exactly. And this is a kind of a cool, I don't know, translucent green.
Oh, stop moving. Oh, that's green. Interesting. Doesn't look green from here, but cool.
I don't know if that can help at all.
That sound? Did they do a good job with that? I assume that's a band you would expect to master it. Pretty good.
Yeah, this is a pretty decent sounding. It's not, I don't know, it's just good. I didn't have any complaints about it. I never owned the CD, so I don't know what it was supposed to sound like. It does seem to have a little bit of a drier production, but anyway. Now, any record store day purchases? Any exclusive record store day exclusives?
I attempted. I actually went to 4 stores looking for that Skid Row one.
Yeah.
That Skid Row.
That one went quick.
Slave to the Grind, and if I had thought about it more, I would have put more money out to our community. You know what I'm saying? I probably could have had a friends of the show grab one when they're there if I'd sent cash or something like that. Because it seems like we have a lot of people out doing the same thing that we know.
Yeah.
But you kind of looked for that a little bit at first.
A little bit, yeah. I for record store day traditionally, in the non-COVID years, the lines out the door are discouraging enough for me. So I typically just go in the afternoon and just see what's left, basically. And I've had pretty good luck. I know which stores kind of will have the selection I'm kind of looking for. You know what I mean? Whatever reason, they don't get a lot of hard rock guys come through their line early in the morning. But with this COVID stuff, I even less interested in doing the thing where they text you and then you can come in the store. There's a couple different variances on how they do it, but it's kind of the same thing where you get in a virtual line and then you wait in your car, or they let you in 3 at a time. And I understand all that stuff. And God bless people who want to do it. It's just not for me. And if you really want something like that Skid Row, you can go out and find it. It might cost you an arm and a leg, but
yeah. What? Yeah. So let's say you do find the Skid Row. What's kind of your limit for? Because if they said it was over, I'm just going to call it. Maybe that day I'm being a little splurgy, but if it's over 35 to 40, I'm out.
Depends on what it is.
It really does. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Armored Saint, I'm not sure if I am 100% all the way sold on it, but that one doesn't matter where you go. It's $40 for that new Punching the Sky album. It's a double vinyl, but I'm just like, that's a lot, man. You know, that's
Yeah. With the Record Store Day exclusives, it's a little different because they pretty much are worth, for the most part, at least that, if not more. Once you walk out of the store, they don't like
Sure.
lose any value unless you damage it. But even then, you know, because you're probably looking at a minimum of $25. I typically only get maybe 2 records,
right.
and I think by breaking out Record Store Day into 3 days over a period that they would have had it, you know, once, I think people actually bought more overall, so it was harder to find some of these releases.
Yeah, I'm hoping you have an example of. Do you want to show me? Do you have your Alice Cooper one? Because I want to see what that looks like. That was one of the new ones. Because I've got a compliment to that one.
So yeah, I did pick up the Alice Cooper live at the Glasgow Theater.
Let's move slow on this one. Okay. Is that embossed? Looks shiny.
Yeah, so this is actually a really cool printing thing that's kind of going. It's kind of new. Not the embossing part, but and you won't be able to get this on video. You kind of have to have it in your hands. But they call it soft touch laminate, and it has kind of a rubbery, soft coating on it. The Rob Halford book has it on that cover too. But we just like for the first time this last year, we actually did a project that used it.
Okay.
So
that's what it's called. It's called soft touch. Is kind of the idea.
Soft touch laminate. I mean, it's not part of. They don't list it on the label, but yeah, it's got a beautiful silver embossed. That red is actually the color of the paper. I'll try to. I'll see if I can open this up so you can see it here. You see how the inside is red?
Yeah.
So this black and the silver emboss is actually slammed on top of the red paper.
Interesting.
So that is actually, it's not an actual print. So everything is very blocky, which I love that kind of dynamic. I don't know if I showed the back or not, but this sounds really good. I mean, it's not an album that was like recorded to be released live, so they did a great job of cleaning it up. I like the set list on it. I think it's pretty decent. Alice doesn't sound trash or anything like that. I know you needed Joey Haney's approval to enjoy, accept this as a decent record before, even though I had already said that. So
well, when I go to the doctor, I always get a second opinion.
Yeah. well, we covered earlier that you needed 5. So who was I first? And if so, who was 2, 3, and 4 before you finally got the okay from Joey Haney to say it's worth it?
Well, you're always first, Bakko. And then I just need reinforcement. What I always say is, if I'm going to get
real quick, you can probably find this one still.
I actually look for it. Can you give me the track? Run through the track listing really quick if you could, because for the Alice Cooper fans listening. Because first off, it's 1982, right, or 81? Yep. And this is the Special Forces tour, I think.
It is.
All right, go ahead.
So you got Who Do You Think We Are? Model Citizen, Go to Hell, Guilty, 18, Cold Ethel, Only Women Bleed, No More Mr. Nice Guy, Clones, Under My Wheels, I Never Cry, 7 and 7 Is, Grim Facts, Pain, $1 Billion Babies, Generation Landslide, and of course, Schools Out.
Does he list who's in the band or anything? Like, is there anything else in there? Is that colored?
The band members is whatever. Alice Cooper, obviously. John Nitziger on guitar, Mike Panera on guitar, Wayne Cook on keyboards, Eric Scott bass, and Jan Uvena on drums. So as far as I'm concerned, I have no idea who any of those guys are.
I was supposed to say, like, I mean, we were joking about like people in LA Guns band, and I know this is a different thing, but I'm gonna say 200 people have been in Alice Cooper's.
Oh, I wonder. That's got to be a Wikipedia page for that.
Gotta be, between the albums, because even now he doesn't even use his own touring band when he records with Ezrin. So if you want to factor that in. Okay. What did you, anything else about the printing or anything like that? That's interesting. So it's a layered thing, like the actual paper is very, very cool. Okay, so you'd recommend it. I'll check it out then, because it's definitely a unique track listing. So you want me to
cool package too?
Yeah. So going to as a segue for that, around late 90s, I started to get it really into Alice Cooper, and I had wasn't to the level of like a Kiss or something like that, where I knew all the albums that artist had, because it just wasn't as readily available, or I just wasn't looking for it. So one day, all of a sudden, I realized that Alice Cooper has these 5 albums that I've never seen in stores. I've never heard of them, and I can order them through mail. And that was like that one, Special Forces, Zipper Catches Skin, and From the Inside. And so the only version of From the Inside I've ever had is this really shitty CD version. Did you have it on CD or anything?
No, but I'm surprised you said you couldn't. I mean, this is an album I've ran into at used record stores pretty much since I started like going to them.
Really? Okay. I never remember seeing it in my used store back when I was shopping for it. So it was
like the ones you were talking about. I get the whole Dada Zipper Catch a Skin.
Yeah.
Let's get the Special Forces, and what's one that Clones is on? That's a weird one too.
That's God damn it. It's Flush the Fashion, I think.
Yeah, okay. So those are ones that like I get that I never really, I thought Alice Cooper was done at that time, but
Lace
when he
and
came
Whiskey,
back in '86, I thought he was gone for like 7-8 years.
for whatever reason, Lace and Whiskey to Constrictor was like vanished off of anywhere in Indiana, at least, for stores
Yeah,
that I've ever seen. But anyway, so From the Inside always was interesting, but I'd only seen like just the CD thing, and even the cover looked odd to me because it had that line in the middle of his face. And I figured it was an album thing, but my point is that they just reissued on green vinyl, which I'm about to show you, at that record store near me. This is where I started. It was my utopia. The fact that I found From the Inside there, and I was like, okay, it was sealed. I'm like, is this actually have all the stuff that the fact that from a printing job, I just think this is such a really cool production that they did. Do you own this?
No, but
Okay.
I mean, I have the CD, but
Okay.
I've always loved that kind of, they call it a double gate where it opens on the front end there, if you want a printing term.
So From the Inside, for one thing, I think is a, for those unfamiliar, he got together with, I'll just do a quick thing. He got together with Bernie Taupin. So it's basically Elton John's, I don't know if it's his band, but he definitely wrote with them. He was on crack at the time, all this kind of stuff. But the main thing is that he went to a mental institution, and then for rehab, because he didn't really have your Beverly Hills type things there. And so every character basically in this picture, if you look at it, is in the actual album, the songs. So the fact that that's there, and then you open this up, and it's got a little Alice is inside the quiet room, inside his little padded wall. Oh, wait, he's not, because I didn't do it right. Point being is that you have, this is where it's supposed to be. So when I open that up, it's supposed to have
it's part of the sleeve.
It's part of the sleeve. So the sleeve lines up there, and then I know that this not everybody is listening to this on the video, but the fact that you open up the back and it's them escaping the asylum, and that's where the sleeve lines up. I don't know. And I'll just show you the vinyl and move on from here. But it says also cut from the original analog master by Chris Bellman, and it always sounded flat to me. This is one of the few times that the bass sounds great. Everything sounds, however they did this. This is how this album, and I always have had an issue with the production, but this is how it should sound. If you like this album, if you've half liked it and been like, the production is suspect, it still is very glossy. It's definitely his glossiest album. This brings it out. And the packaging, can you think of a packaging that's this? I've never seen anything that everything lines up perfectly like a puzzle in it, besides like your Led Zeppelin.
It's pretty inventive. I can't think, there's definitely other examples. I just can't think of one in my head. But no, that's up there. You know what I mean?
$23 new at the local store. So I was like, fuck yeah. So that was definitely one of my happiest finds. And
that's a really cool reissue.
Yeah, and they actually did a bunch. And if you like that '80s period, I didn't know that they redid all of those. Like they're all like, if you want Dada, if you're a Dada fan, they have that on like red or something like that. It's the same guy that does them too. So Alice fan, check that out.
Cobras and fire, sex in your headphones. Cobras and fire, while work or at home, on a mission to say rock and roll for rock and rollers. There's cobras and fire, cobras and fire.